You see that person who always has it together? The one who never seems to crack under pressure. What if I told you that person might be one step away from falling, and they don't even know it? You walk like you are unshakable, shoulders squared, chin lifted, stride steady. People pass you and think they've got it all together, but deep inside, there's a weight you don't talk about, a heaviness that has been pressing on you longer than you care to admit. You've told yourself, I can handle this. I don't need anyone. I'll figure it out. You've convinced yourself that asking for help makes you weak. But I need you to hear me. If you try to walk this life alone, you will fall. Not might, not maybe. You will fall. Because life was never meant to be carried on one set of shoulders. The road is too long, the storms are too fierce, and the battles, they will outnumber you. Stay with me here, because this might save your life. A lion doesn't rush into the center of the herd. It waits, watching, its eyes fixed on the one who drifts away from the group. A wolf doesn't attack the flock head-on. It waits for the sheep that wanders off. The devil works the same way. He studies you. He waits until exhaustion seeps into your bones, until your hope thins, until your guard drops. And when you've drifted from the safety of others, that's when he strikes. Isolation is more than loneliness. It's a hunting ground. Let me show you what I mean through the pages of Scripture. The desert sun blazes down. Below, the battlefield is a blur of movement, swords clashing, dust rising, men shouting. Israel is locked in a fight for survival against the Amalekites. On the hilltop, Moses stands with the staff of God raised high. As long as it's lifted, Israel advances. At first, his grip is firm. The adrenaline is strong. His faith is unshakable. But the minutes turn into hours. The muscles in his arms burn. His shoulders scream in pain. Sweat stings his eyes, and slowly, the staff begins to drop. As it lowers, the tide of battle shifts. The enemy begins to push forward. If Moses had been alone, Israel would have lost that day. But Aaron and Hur are beside him. They roll a stone under him so he can sit. Then, one on each side, they hold his arms steady until the sun sets on victory. Even the man who confronted Pharaoh, parted the Red Sea, and met God on the mountain, could not win that battle alone. Maybe this sounds familiar. You're the manager who's been carrying a struggling team for months, handling late nights, difficult clients, and tight budgets. But your own energy is gone. You're the single parent paying the bills, making the meals, and raising the kids alone. Everyone thinks you're strong, but they don't see the nights you cry after they're asleep. You're battling anxiety, depression, or burnout in silence because you don't want to burden anyone. Who is holding your arms up? And if no one is, how long before they drop? But it's not just Moses who learned this lesson. Elijah had called down fire from heaven. He had stood alone against hundreds of false prophets and won. But when fear hit, It hit hard. He ran, left his servant behind, wandered into the wilderness, alone. Under a broom tree, drained and hopeless, he prayed, "Lord, take my life." God didn't rebuke him, didn't tell him to snap out of it. He sent an angel with bread, with water, with rest. And he reminded Elijah, "You are not the only one." Even a prophet who had seen the power of God firsthand could not carry the weight alone. You lose your job unexpectedly. You keep it a secret from friends because you don't want pity. But every day alone feels heavier. You're grieving a loss, but you keep busy instead of letting people in, and the ache only deepens. You're battling addiction in silence because the shame convinces you no one would understand. Even the most gifted, the most faithful, the most resilient can crumble if they walk alone. Here's what might surprise you. If anyone could have walked alone, it was Jesus. Perfect, sinless, almighty. Yet he chose 12 disciples. He laughed with them, taught them, ate with them. And in Gethsemane, with his soul overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death, he told Peter, James, and John, "Stay here and keep watch with me." If the Son of God wanted friends close in his darkest hour, why do you think you should face yours alone? The CEO who runs a thriving company, but lies awake at night, gripped by fear of failure, with no one to confide in. The single mother who never lets her kids see her cry, but silently wonders how much longer she can keep going. The pastor who preaches hope to hundreds, but has no one speaking hope into them. If Jesus didn't choose isolation, neither should you. I need you to really hear this next part, because this is where everything changes. The king's decree is clear. Bow to the golden statue or burn. The music plays. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego could have bowed. They could have reasoned. God knows our hearts, but they stood together. When the flames roared, they were thrown in bound. But the fire didn't consume them. And when the king looked, he saw not 3 men, but 4. When you stand with others for God, God himself stands with you. Refusing to falsify numbers at work, even when it could cost you a promotion. Speaking the truth in a family conflict, even if it means some will turn against you. Standing against unethical practices in your industry, knowing it might cost you your career. Courage grows stronger when you're not standing alone. The walls of Jerusalem lay in ruins. The task was huge. Nehemiah didn't try to rebuild alone. He gathered families, friends, and neighbors. One worked while another stood guard. Every section rose, because they stood side by side. In just 52 days, the wall was rebuilt, not because of one man's strength, but because of united hands. Rebuilding a marriage after betrayal, surrounded by counselors and friends who refuse to let you quit. Starting over financially after bankruptcy, with a community that rallies to help you get back on your feet. facing a health crisis, with people who cook meals, drive you to appointments, and pray over you daily. Some walls cannot be rebuilt with your own 2 hands alone. After Pentecost, believers met daily. They prayed together, ate together, shared so no one was in need. They faced prison, persecution, and death, but never alone. And their unity shook the world. A neighborhood pulling together to rebuild after a devastating fire. A church raising the full cost of a member's medical treatment in days. Friends taking turns caring for a loved one through long nights in the hospital. When people walk together, the impossible becomes possible. Yes, storms will come. Yes, mountains will rise. Yes, there will be battles you cannot win alone, but you were never meant to. You were meant to have an Aaron for your Moses, a Jonathan for your David, a Ruth for your Naomi, a Silas for your Paul, a Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego for your furnace, a Nehemiah's crew for your wall. And above all, you were meant to walk with Jesus, who said, "I am with you always, to the very end of the age." When you walk together, you share the weight, you share the fight, you share the victory. If you walk alone, you will fall. But if you walk together, with God at the center, you will stand. And when you stand, you will overcome. Remember, you were never meant to walk this journey alone, and neither was anyone else around you. Be the community you wish you had. If this encouraged you today, show me by hitting that like button, subscribing to your daily companion, and turning on notifications. Share this message with someone who's been carrying too much by themselves. And in the comments, let's build community right here. Tell me one way someone supported you this week. I'm your daily companion, bringing you encouragement every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, because none of us should walk alone.